nickyokoye.com or through email, pa@nickyokoye.com or roadshow@nickyokoye.com. So what we do is that we host these strategy sessions. We provide a roadmap of how people can go about accessing these funds. And if they're serious, then they can join us on a roadshow, on a retreat and roadshow, where we take them to the decision makers, either in the United States or in Europe or in China. We discuss with the folks who are actually dispersing these funds and make sure that your project gets on their shortlist. And then when you come back from the roadshow, we will actually do the follow-up. We have teams out there, and we're constantly recruiting more folks who will be working with us in order to make sure that your applications are approved. So the process is not that complicated. For the United States, for instance, you need a qualified supplier.
Okay.
So this is a supplier that the United States has approved to supply goods and services, plants and machinery under the Prosper Africa Initiative.
Okay.
And basically, the criteria for that supplier is that they must be 51% a United States company.
Which is fair. I expect that from them.
Exactly. And you find out that a lot of Chinese companies are setting up subsidiaries in the United States.
Really?
Because they want to access it, because this is real money. This
60 billion is not a small
exactly.
amount at all.
Exactly. So subsidiaries are being set up both from China and Europe, and they're giving Americans equity in those companies so that they meet the criteria for 51% and so on. So that's the criteria on the supplier side. Then for you, that is the entrepreneur or the business, your criteria will be having your project, making sure that you have a good corporate governance standard within your company, because the United States is very peculiar about corporate governance. And so once you meet those ones, then you're good to go. So the ideal way to work is identify what we call the public-private partnership. So identify the governments, state governments, who want investment to come to their states.
Okay.
Not everybody wants investment. Some states are very unserious.
Of course.
But those who are serious, those who really want investment to come, then they should go out into their state, identify businesses or entrepreneurs who can meet this criteria, bring them to us. We will do the rest. Then for strategy sessions, we also support, institutions in other areas. So we have the National Development Strategy session, where we support folks in the political space, so legislators, senators, governors, and so on. And we host them to these strategy sessions, give them ideas on what they need to be doing to build up, the economy, to create jobs, and to make economic development sustainable. We also have strategy sessions on other areas. One of the very unique ones is leadership, and then we also have strategy sessions for teams, of executive teams, on the conglomerate side, on the entrepreneurship side. And then we have the masterclass series. So the masterclass series is an online, product where we create a platform. You can come online and watch a masterclass series, and then the masterclass series is supported by a workbook.
Okay.
So the one that is extremely exciting and we're excited about is the Champions of the Universe 13-week study course.
Wow, what a name.
Yes, and it makes you a champion. So it's typically designed for professional development, young people or middle-aged people who really want to improve themselves. And they can go online, participate in the masterclass, and then get a workbook, 13-week study course. By the time you're done, you become a champion.
Become a champion. That sounds great.
It's an ideal situation for professionals. So companies that have large number of employees, 500 employees, 200 employees, 1,000 employees, it's ideal for them to get the staff motivated and believing they're champions and they can conquer the universe.
Okay.
And it's also ideal for students, especially students in their final year, because this is material that the universities will not teach you. So there's nothing there that you will learn in this classroom.
Okay.
But it is things that you need for life. It's things that you need to become champions. It's things that you need to succeed in life. And so we have provided all that material, and I developed it myself.
Wow.
So it came from my 30 years career.
Experience, okay.
experience in leadership, in development, in getting things done, and in failing sometimes.
Okay.
So, like I said before, I learned a lot from some of my failures. And so everything is in there. And anybody that takes that course will be a champion of the universe.
Awesome. Now, you mentioned that you said you have the strategy sessions as a structural support. Are there any that are centered on these new?
Oh, absolutely. We have a strategy session which we have actually earmarked for the 10th of September.
September 10th?
September 10th at the Nigerian Stock Exchange Event Center.
Oh, interesting.
So Nigerian Stock Exchange, where I used to work,
Okay.
it has an event center.
Okay.
And event center is ideal for providing strategic knowledge to folks in the finance industry or folks who want to gain from finance or capital. So that's the ideal location. So we've gotten the stock exchange to give us their location, and we expect to talk to businesses, entrepreneurs, executives, finance professionals, anybody who believes that they need this money and they need money from any of these centers of sovereign guarantees, whether the United States, Europe, China. We're going to be talking mostly about the Prosper Africa Initiative, which is the closest, because we're taking folks on a roadshow at the end of September to the United States to meet with the Prosper Africa folks.
Wow, directly.
Directly. And so they meet with them directly, they get their projects listed on a short list, and then the application process for the money can start. And the good thing is that some of that money can be as low as $1 million, your request.
Wow.
Or it can be as high as $50 or $100 million.
Awesome, I like the sound of that.
Yes, so projects within that range are good to go. And like I said before, it covers hospitality, tourism, it covers transportation, aviation, it covers oil and gas projects, energy projects, power, agriculture, healthcare, pharmaceuticals, even entertainment.
Wow, okay. Interesting. So just to confirm, you mentioned you have a strategy session and the roadshow, and it sounds like the strategy session is a precursor for the roadshow. We are taking those who want funding with viable projects, not just because you want funding.
Exactly.
And you're taking them to meet directly with those who are actually giving out the funding and having them dialogue.
Precisely. And also, because that's what we call it, a retreat and a roadshow. So it's not just a roadshow. So a lot of folks say, sometimes these roadshows turn out to be jamborees. You just go and have a good time and come back. And I said, no, we are including it as a retreat. So there's capacity building for government officials and for entrepreneurs that come with us. That capacity building is we tell them how to gain funding from international sources. So the whole process is explained. You take your notes, you understand the process. So that process of gaining funding from sovereign guarantees or even from international investors. And then we also tell them, as soon as you get your loan or you get your approvals, how you're going to get the equity that comes with it. So it's all a strategic process. So we give them that information as part of the capacity building. So it's not just a roadshow, it's a retreat and a roadshow.
So you mentioned that you're going to America for this event.
Absolutely.
Where in America are you going?
We're going to Washington, D.C. That's the headquarters of Prosper Africa. And all the institutions that make up Prosper Africa, about 15 different government institutions of the United States government came together. They're supporting Prosper Africa. So we're going to meet a lot of the folks who are pushing this initiative. We're going to meet a lot of the folks who are managing the $60 billion that is supporting this initiative. And then we're going to meet with pre-qualified suppliers of plants, equipment, whether it's the medical field or whether it's the aviation, even those. We have some entrepreneurs that are trying to buy some planes. And they qualify. They qualify because America has a lot of plane manufacturers.
Of course.
So those who want to start airlines or cargo airline companies are going to be coming with us, and their idea and their strategy and their project is to get new planes. And so there's some folks, like I said, in the medical field. There's some in the pharmaceutical field that want to start manufacturing drugs or manufacturing vitamins.
Very important.
That's an area that Nigerian entrepreneurs and Nigerian pharmaceuticals have not really ventured into. Vitamin manufacturing. A lot of the vitamins you find in most of the pharmaceuticals are all imported.
Yes, that's very true.
But it's actually one of the easiest drugs to manufacture.
So for companies that are interested in accessing the Global Capital Strategy event and the roadshow, how do they get in contact with you?
Well, the first thing is they can come to our website. On our website, you get a link to the strategy session, so they can come to the strategy session, ask any questions they want. The strategy session is free, but it's by invitation only, so you actually have to apply. You have to get scrutinized and screened, and we make sure that you meet a specific criteria. And then you come to the strategy session, and then you can ask all your questions you want, and we will now select a short list from the strategy session for those who are going to join us to the United States. If you don't come up to the United States, that doesn't mean you can't put in an application. What it means is that you won't get an access to meet with the decision makers and put your project on the short list. So if you want to still put in an application without coming to the United States, then we'll have a separate, section for you where we will deal with you as a company that will not be coming on the roadshow. So there's specific requirements for that. So the website is www.nickyokoye.com, and Nicky is spelled NICKY.OKOYE.com. And then the email is roadshow@nickyokoye.com. So that's the best way to contact us. Tell us you're interested, then you come to the strategy session, and then you come to the roadshow. So that's the process.
No problem. I imagine it's first come, first served, so I'm sure that they would need to start applying right away.
Absolutely. In fact, the 2 state governments that have already told us we should come and work with them and get their entrepreneurs up and running. The good news is that this is going to be every quarter.
Good.
So it's not a one-off roadshow. We go in September, we're going to go again in January, but even in November, we're going to be going to Mozambique as well to access those oil and gas opportunities. So that will be exciting for those in the oil and gas field, the midstream, which is those who provide services to drilling companies, exploration companies, production companies.
Thank you for tuning in, and thank you, Dr. Nicky, for giving us your time.
Thank you very much. And we look forward to getting a lot of entrepreneurs to take advantage of this.